So today I want to talk about the distributive property, just part one. And the nice thing is that many of you have already talked about the distributive property. You may have remembered it from last year. So first thing I need you to know is what a term is. And I've actually used this word in class before. A term is a number, a variable, or a product of a number and one or more variables. And they're separated by the plus and minus signs. So if you look at this example here, I want you to try and think about how many terms are in here. Alright, before I show you, just kind of think about it. Alright, now if it's separated by the plus and minus signs, this is one term. This is another term. Another term, another term, and another term. Okay? It can be a single number like the 25. It can be a variable like the y, or a product of a number and one or more variables, where a number is being multiplied by a variable. That's your 4x, your 12w, and your 9z. Right? And they're separated by the plus and minus signs. That's how you can count them. So if you look, there's actually 5 terms here. So now that you know what a term is, we can talk about distributive property. You're going to multiply the number outside the parentheses by each and every term inside the parentheses. So, for example, you might have something that looks like this: a times, in parentheses, b plus c. Or you might have something that looks like this: b plus c, and it's still being multiplied on the outside by a. Just looks a little different. It's just on the right hand side. Now it doesn't have to be addition, it can be subtraction. And same thing, we can have the number to the right of the parentheses. It doesn't matter. So the way that this looks, you're taking that outside number a and you're multiplying everything on the inside. So a times b is simply a times b, or ab. And now take a and multiply it by c. A times c is simply ac. It's being added, so it's a positive there. It's the same thing. A times b is ab, and a times c is ac. It doesn't matter what side of the parentheses that variable is in. And the same thing with subtraction. A times b is ab, and a times negative c is negative ac. Again, it's just on the right side of the parentheses. A times b is ab, and a times negative c is negative ac. This is the distributive property. Take that outside number and multiply it by everything inside the parentheses. One last thing I want to show you is how to rewrite fraction expressions. If I have a fraction a over b, I can actually pull that apart, and it's equivalent to a times 1 over b. You got to remember, a is kind of like saying a over 1 and multiply straight across. 8 times 1 is a. 1 times b is b. There's your a over b. So we can pull this apart. This is going to be new. This is what we're going to look at more in depth, along with just the regular distributive property tomorrow. Alright, what we can do is basically pull out that numerator. Alright, so we can make this equivalent to 7x plus 2, and that's being multiplied by 1 over 5. Alright, that 7x plus 2, that's my a. I can pull that out, and I'm left with 1 over 5. So now, with the distributive property, take that 1/5, multiply it by 7x, multiply it by 2. Again, it's fractions, so it's going to be 7/5 x plus 2/5 x. So look at what we started with and look at what we ended with. Do you notice anything? Hopefully you kind of noticed that we took that 7 and divided it by 5, and we took the 2 and divided it by 5. Alright, we're kind of splitting it up. So we're going to look at all the distributive property tomorrow, but I know you guys already have a jump on it from last year. Alright, see you then.